this particular program is just something I wanted to share with the community, because we did it, as I said, just recently in San Diego, and also when I went for a job work in Qatar. There was a group of brothers who came from majority of them, they came from the United States. They were working over there. We had similar age kids. We gathered together. We used to do this program every Friday. After the Friday prayers, the Jum'ah prayers, we used to gather the brothers, and we used to do the gathering and everything there. So, Alhamdulillah, we saw, as I said, its effect on our kids. The whole point is not to get knowledge out of this program. Yes, we'd love to have the kids to have as much as knowledge as they can, but the most important thing is that it's two things, and I'm going to go over those points inshallah inside the presentation, is to get them attached to the masjid. And as we know, the seven group of Rasulullah said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will place them under his shade the day of judgment, under his throne's shade. One of those groups of people are شاب تعلق قلبه بالمساجد, and young man or young woman, their heart is attached to masjid. So they came to the masjid. They live and dwell in the masjid, and they attach to the masjid. And that's one of the things, that the goal that inshallah we are planning to do inshallah. I'm going to go over inshallah the mission and the vision of this particular program. And inshallah, if there's anything that you it's not too clear, just stop me there inshallah. Next slide. Lath. Yep. So here one of the things that what do you call I gathered together about the mission of this particular program, and as I said, it's intended for the young children, our what do you call new generation, from 7 to 17. This is a tentative kind of age. I mean, like if you have 6 years old, but he's more mature than 7 years old, we still accept them, because what we're going to do later on, we're going to divide them into two groups. And the main program, as I said, is to to get those young kids, the new generation of our kids here in the United States, to become Muslim leaders. Is the group that we want them to become, to lead the masajid and become the imams and the leaders of the community. After we won't be able to do it anymore. And that's the whole point of this. We need them to get them involved in the community at that early age, so that they can take the message on. And also we want to create, as I said, environment for our kids that they become friends with each other. They become suhba, as we say in Arabic. It's more than friendship. It's become more what you call brothers. The brotherhood that Rasulullah has established between the Sahaba in Medina. We want to establish that kind of what you call suhba here in Memphis between the kids at early age, so that by the time they become adults and they become young men, they have mashallah, that connection, and they support each other and help each other. So, and we're doing all of this according to the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the teachings of our religion. Next. One of what you call one of the aspects of this program is to teach also the kids the minimum knowledge of religion, that they will fulfill their duties to what you call to become a Muslim. A lot of fuqaha, they use a term, they have a specific term that this is the minimum what you call knowledge that you should worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with. That knowledge is the one that we were trying to teach with the kids here in the community. And I mentioned a few of the points here, but this is not everything. It's just part of it. We teaching them about aqidah. They need to know the aqidah, because this is where the whole reason that they are Muslims and praying towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and being steadfast on the religion. Second thing, we need to have them good understanding of the salah and its condition, because as you know that the salah is the first thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment will ask us about. If the salah is complete, everything else will be easier. But if the salah is not complete, Whatever comes after that will be tough for the person. So we need to make sure that the kids knows exactly how to pray, what's the conditions of the prayer, the tahara, and inshallah I'll mention examples of things that happened in the past with my kids, and after we start teaching them this program. Um, I said a deep understanding of fiqh of tahara. It doesn't have to be deep, but the purification of the tahara before you even perform salah, it's something that they need to really understand. How are you going to make a wudu? What is ma'a tahur? That kind of concept, we need to understand them very well. I think even a lot of adults, probably they haven't studied this in school, but we need to teach the kids this, because this will determine in the future if they are in a doubt place that they cannot tell, oh, okay, can I make a wudu in this, or can I drink this, or can I do that, and if something touch my clothes, that kind of things. We need to make clear of that, of how kids can purify themselves to be ready for salah, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts from them the salah. And also we're teaching them manners and akhlaq and adab, ihtiram, all these things in Islam, and it has to be taught here. As you see, we live in a society that people have freedom to say whatever they want to say. It's, in fact, they encourage them to do so. But we need our kids not just to have that ability to say whatever they want to say, but to say it in such a way that they please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the parents and the teachers, and to have it in such a manner that it's inclusive within our teachings of Islam. And we need to emphasize on this, because this is what differentiates us between Muslims in general and people who are not Muslims in general, or I'm talking about any people who does not have manners. And the earlier that we can capture our kids to have those kind of manners, will be easier for us to to guide them once they become a young adult. There's other thing that also, and this is more of the second group, because I'm going to divide the groups into two groups: the younger kids and the adolescents or the teenagers. 13 and 17 will be in one group, and the younger group will be in another group. So the 13 to 17s, they have issues specific to them, and we're going to inshallah tackle those specifically for them. The thing they face as they're growing up, especially for for both genders, but not just for the sisters, but in general even for the boys. All these things, inshallah, we'll tackle them in an Islamic manner, inshallah, and we have a lot of inshallah support in the community. We can use the resources that we have in the community, and also we have specialized brothers and sisters who knows more about these issues, and inshallah we will get them engaged in this program as we go on. Next slide. So who are the participants and who are the student population? The student population, as we said, is from the age of 7 to 17 from both genders, male and female, divided into two groups. 7 to 12 will be in one group, and 13 to 17 will be in another group. What we're going to do with 7 to 12, most of the time we used to start the lecture with Quran and things like that, but we specifically will be teaching them more into practice things, like how to perform the salah, how to perform the tahara, the essentials part of the religion that they need to understand at that particular age. With the older group, we're going to give them a recap of what the other younger kid they're supposed to know and get knowledge of. But we're having targeted lectures for them, and we have even the books that we've been using for those kids. We divide them into books that we can use for the younger kids and books that we can use for the older generation. And we inshallah will have specific brothers and sisters who can help us inshallah for this group. But obviously the two groups that have two distinctive curriculum. But then every now and then they will have a one group lecture, and we're targeting brothers who can give us group presentation, and normally it's once a month. They will come to the community here in the masjid, and they will deliver a lecture to both groups. So it will be something that will encompass that group of age. Could be anything. In the past, we had one brother, he came and he talked to us about the rituals of Hajj from A to Z, and he performed all the what you call rituals of Hajj in front of the kids and showed them. And then we had one time a brother who came and he talked to us about the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Very summarized the seerah in about 2.5 hours, but we divided into a couple of sessions and that was also was a fun stuff for them because it was stories and things like that he was relaying to the kids. So inshallah we'll have them separated, but also we'll have some group what we call lectures will be targeted as a group, or the whole group, or even individual group. Next slide. So as I said here, we're going to have teachers and supervisors for the youth and guest speakers. The program will be primarily run by one or two brothers, myself and there's another brother. But also, as I say, that we're encouraging all the parents to join us and help us, especially when you come to the lecture. And sometimes we will have the sport activity at the end, but we want the parents to be part of the program. They don't have to specifically be there every single day, but then we cherish what they call when we see the parents are within the group, participating with the kids in their activities, and it'll give what they call moral support and encouragement for the kids to be present and enjoy the activity. Currently, we only have two brothers. We don't have any sisters. If there's any sisters who are willing to volunteer and help us, we're more than willing and we're more than happy to take what they call accept them in. But between the two of us, inshallah, we might be able to cover that. But eventually, we will need some sisters, inshallah, to help us with this program. And as I said, the parents are encouraged to help. Also, we're going to target the high schoolers, the kids who are in grade 11 and 12. At the past, when I was in San Diego, they used to be our biggest asset when it comes to sports. They used to be our coaches, used to be our what they call referees. They the one who used to gather the kids and divide them into different groups and coach them as they're playing. And so, inshallah, we'll encourage those youth, high schoolers, to come, inshallah, and be part of the activity. And as I said, any help we appreciate it if every now and then. Inshallah, I'll be approaching each one of you every now and then to say, oh, okay, can you, Dr. Adnan, can you give us maybe a lecture about something that you prefer for the kids, maybe inshallah 1 hour after 2 months or a month. It will be targeted what you call individual that I need to what you call be part of this program, inshallah, as your time permits, inshallah. And that's the plan, inshallah. Next slide. The venue will be, as I said, we're going to be using MIC here primarily, the soccer field. That's where we're going to, inshallah, do the afternoon activities. We're going to also utilize the basketball hoops here in the parking lot. And other venues, inshallah, we will have some other venues, inshallah. And the plan is to do trips and things like that. So, inshallah, it's not going to be just in this area, but inshallah, will be some other venues. In the past, when we were in Qatar and San Diego, we used to go every other month, we used to go to the beach. And we used to gather the kids in the morning and then get them quizzes and kind of things, and then have them breakfast, and then we either play soccer or basketball or even swim. So that's inshallah will be the different what you call activities that inshallah we're going to do. Next slide. The date and time. So this program, inshallah, the plan is to do every Saturday continuously. We're not going to stop, or we're only going to stop for Ramadan and Eid. Those are the two times, inshallah, we're going to take a break. Sometimes we used to take a break in the month of summer for a month or so. But the plan is, as far as there's enough group here in the community, we're going to do it every Saturday. And the venue will be here in MIC. This is MIC's facility that we're going to use. Parents will drop the kids in the masjid here at the front, inshallah, and they need to come and pick them up at Salat al-Asr here at the masjid every Saturday when they drop them. So I mean, like we used to be strict on the time because we don't want the kids running around in the parking lot from 10 a.m. in the morning. Like used to happen before in other programs. Some of them, they used to use the program as a babysitting program, but I hope not, inshallah, will be the case this time. Just drop them at 12 o'clock and then come and pray with Asr with us here at the masjid and pick them up from here. That's a strict time, inshallah. Now I'm going to cover the timetable for the program. Next slide, Laith. So here's the activities and the way we're going to do the program. At 12 o'clock, you drop the kids, inshallah. I'll wait for about 15 minutes, and we'll do normally the first lecture. And the way we used to do previously, we used to gather the kids in halaqa here, like in front of the masjid here, and in the musalla area, and ask them to read the Quran as much as they can. We try to correct them as much as they can. Inshallah, we start with Juz Amma. I know some of the kids are, mashallah, hafad and they know Quran, but the whole point is to have the barakah of the Quran among us in the halaqa, but also to correct the ahkam for the kids who cannot pronounce it correctly. We are not replacing the Quran teacher, but we are encouraging the kids to have what they call part of the Quran in their daily activities or weekly activities that we have in there. After we do after we finish with the Quran, we normally used to do a small talk about 20 minutes, half an hour, and then we normally used to target them with something general that they can participate in all of them. It used to be a group discussion, nothing what you call dictated lecture. We do this until Dhuhr time, and after we pray Dhuhr, we have a Q&A session. Either if we have our imams and mashayikh here, we used to ask them questions, and a lot of kids they have questions. Sometimes we have questions from the weeks prior to that, from the thing that used to come up from the fiqh issues and things like that. And we do that until 2 p.m. And then from 2 to 3, that's a main topic that we used to do. So at 2 to 3 p.m., the kids, mainly up until this point, they are together. 2 to 3 p.m. we divide them into the older group and the younger group, and then each group have their own main topic, and this is where we do the main presentation. If we have external person who's going to come and give the kids presentation, we used to target them around this time, 2 to 3, 1 hour, and maybe 20 minutes follow-up questions and things like that. After that, we let the kids free. This is the whole point of having the kids to come in here to have fun, engage, and play. So we do the sport activities, and normally I used to target them for about an hour and a half, close to 2 hours. It will take some time to divide them up into groups and then send them and walk maybe to the field there in the soccer field. And we used to do every week. We used to do different sport. We were taught them. The whole point is not people who love soccer always play soccer, or people who love basketball just play basketball all the time. Let them learn about new sport. Let them the kids who are not so great at football but they're good at basketball. When those kids who are really good at soccer come to them in a basket, they can shine in the court. This will give them encouragement. They will tell them that if you're not performing well in one sport activity, you can outperform the kids who are better than you in that particular sport in another sport. And it used to be fun, and especially adults, we used to have fun with them as well. And that's where we finish around 4:30, 5 o'clock. We normally come back to the masjid. What we used to do in the past, we used to order pizzas for the kids. Not that much. We used to order like each kid have 2 slides or 1 slide, and then maybe small drink, just to give them energy since they've been here with us since 12 o'clock. And that's what we use it for them. The nominal fee that we mentioned to you guys, it's mainly for this, to cover this, inshallah. And then at 5:30, when we pray Asr here at 5:30, we would love every parents to come and pick up their kids around that time and be with us here at Asr time. So the only question comes here: what happens in winter time when Asr has become a little bit early? Yeah, it will be. I think it was 3 o'clock, 3:30. We will include Asr with the programs, so we can push the sport after Asr, and then we stop at 5:30. It's not inshallah any big problem, but that's the way the structure of the program. About those 4 hours, 5 hours every Saturday, inshallah. Next slide. And this is the most important point I just want to discuss with you guys, especially the parents. You can ask us what you are teaching my kids here. The kids are going to spend 4 hours, 5 hours with you guys, other than the sport, but what you guys teaching them. And this is where I just wanted to discuss with you. To be honest, the curriculum that we're just using a general curriculum that it's in the mainstream Islam, Sunni. We're not bringing any controversial ideas and topics to the kids, and we don't want to. So the books that we're using, we're being careful about the books that we were supposed to use for this program. What are in the past what we used? There's a list of books. I've listed them here. Majority of them you can find them actually in Amazon. I do have some copies of these books, either as a soft copies or hard copies. Most of them are available in Amazon. You can purchase them in Amazon, and maybe you can borrow the books that we have, and see for yourself what's in it. But what we found, the books that we found them really useful in this particular program. The first book I think is one of the best book is written for this kind of age group, is the 4-volume book written by Sheikh Bilal Phillips. And if you look at this, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this book, Islamic Studies. Sheikh Bilal Phillips was teaching at girls' school in Riyadh for about 16 years or 17 years. I can't remember how many years he's been teaching there at this specific school in Riyadh. He used to teach him Islamic Studies in English. I think the principal approached him and he told him, can you collect all these lectures that you've been giving to the kids in a form of a book, so that we can at least make it as a curriculum in the school even after he left. So Sheikh Bilal, he went back into the lectures that he had for all these years, and he vetted them and he reread them and rewrote them again one more time, and he made this specific books of volumes that he used to give lectures about. The books, I started teaching this book about a year ago for my kids at home. What I find the book is really mashallah, and it's very, very nice and very easygoing. He divided the books into so many different chapters. So there's certain chapters of tafsir. There's few ayat of the Quran, and he goes about the meaning of those ayat and what's the reason, asbab al-nuzul, what's the reason for those ayat to be revealed to the Prophet, and what's the benefit that we get from those ayat. That kind of things. He had one of the chapters in the book. Second thing is he covered some of the hadith, and those hadith have specific meaning and understanding. Also, he covered the aqidah or the creed or understanding of the aqidah. He either mentioned an ayat in Quran or a hadith. So in the book as well, he covered things like the zakah, how you define zakah. I mean, like a lot of us, we know zakah is just giving what you call 2.5% of your money if it's past 1 year. But then he goes into not too much details, but to tell the kids, okay, zakah is not just only in money, but also can be in form of jewelry or gold, or if you have assets, or if you have livestock, animals, that kind of things. He covered all of that in a very concise. He covered in his book things like inheritance. What is inheritance, and how is in Islam is different than other religions in terms of inheritance, that kind of things. And also he covers the contemporary issues like what's going on in the real world in terms of what you call the relationship between the males and females, all that kind of things. Alhamdulillah, he covered in that book, and it's really, really nice book. It's called Islamic Studies. If you have any kids at home, I think this kind of books is, especially Dr. Sheikh Bilal Phillips' books, it's a good start. The second book we use also, it's specifically for the older group, for the group of 13, the teenagers from 13 to 17, is Minhaj al-Muslim by Sheikh Abu Bakr al-Jazairi. It's a good book about manners and things like that in general in Islam, and it tackles few akhlaq issues, and we need those kind of things to encourage them to the kids to have. Next slide. The other book that we use, and I use this for, is the Seerah of the Prophet. And believe me, when the kids hear the Seerah of the Prophet, especially when we make it as a form of a story, they love it. And all the kids, I think probably this is the most common things between all the kids. They tend to listen if it's the Seerah, and especially when you talk about the incidents that happened in Mecca or in Medina or in the journey. So that's and I use mainly for Imam Ibn Kathir's book for the seerah. Normally I choose the topic that I want and I ignore the thing that I think is above their age. But it's a really what you call a good book for a lot of people. They use Rahiq al-Makhtoum, Sheikh Mubarak Furi, but Rahiq al-Makhtoum is very detailed book for the seerah. Imam Ibn Kathir's book, The Life of Prophet Muhammad, is much more easier, and you can target it for the youth. Um, the book for Sheikh Yasser Qadi, where we have basic fiqh and purification, is, as I said, we use it for the salah and tahara, that kind of things. But we also choose certain very detailed areas that we tackle them. Fiqh of Worship by Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen is a really good book, and we this particular book helped us for the older group, and I'll tell you some of the examples they had that. And then finally the book that we use also, Aqeedah Tahawiyah, for the Aqeedah in general. Again, it's a deep book, but and they taught this book at university level in Islamic schools, but we target certain areas of the Aqeedah from that book. Next slide. So there's here the fees, as I say, the $25 per month. It's just a nominal fee for I think that hopefully we're going to cover for their food and kind of things. It's not it's not a stopper for us. Anyone who can pay, inshallah, you can pay, but we encourage them to what they call pay, so that at least we can get for the kids something to eat. Just to cover the basics. Sometimes as I said, we used to bring them drinks and pizzas, especially as you know that they are here from 12 all the way till 5:30, and then they have a sport session activity. So that's what is the field. Next slide. Okay, we have in this program field trips and picnics. Every 2 to 3 months, we're targeting to have a field trip. The field trip doesn't have to be away from the masjid, but it's be what they call a whole day activity. It could be at the soccer field, it could be maybe at the back, at the multi-purpose hall, or it could be at whatever area that we think we can take the kids to. A big farm, Shabu farms. Like, we have to agree among us and the parents what area would be suitable for them. But it's always good to take the kids away from where they're having the lectures. And we always target every 2 to 3 months. Once they start taking lectures or classes for, say, 2 months, 3 months, then it might be a good time for them to take that field trip. And the field trip, the whole reason is we're taking them is that the time that we were studying for the last 2 months, 3 months, what we do, we give them a knowledge quiz. We test them for the thing that they had, and then we used to get some prizes for them as well. We do some fun activities, sport activities, and then sometimes back in San Diego and in Qatar, we used to do this early in the morning. So we used to get breakfast, and we used to order breakfast, and then all the kids have breakfast after they finish with their sport activities, and then we let them play volleyball, soccer, whatever, all the way until Dhuhr time. That was the plan. So that was what you call the whole purpose of the field trip. Once a year, we used to ask the parents to come to this particular program, and we do a big kind of like a community picnic. We gather the parents, the kids, the imams, everyone. We used to take care of them, and we used to ask them for their feedback on the program, and the kids, how they the kids are performing. Are they better in terms of knowledge, behavior, akhlaq at home? How they're academic at school? And this is where we get the feedback from the parents, where we're lacking something or we need to improve on something. And we used to encourage the parents to attend, especially for this particular gathering, because this is where we seek their feedback. So the last slide is just if there's any questions or comments. But before I open the floor for you guys, if you have any questions, I need to tell you something about experience that the kids that we had with this kind of programs. It might look generic to you guys and might not have that much of an effect, but I'll tell you in reality how the kids were used to behave after we used to have this kind of programs. I remember we were teaching them at one point أحكام الطهارة, how to purify yourself before even you go and pray. So we were teaching them about the different types of water. Okay, this particular water, we'll call them ma' tahur, and then we say what's a tahur means, and then we say this is ma' tahir, and then what's ma' tahir and what's the difference between the two, and then we say ma' najis. Okay, and what's the water, the najis water, what's the meaning of it? If your clothes has najasa, for example, can you wash it with ma' tahir or with ma' tahur, and what's the difference between them? And they used to throw examples, and I'll tell you, this has happened with my kids. He asked me one time. He said, "Oh, Baba, can I make a wudu with 7 Up? 7 Up, it's what? Is it ma tahir or tahur? Anyone can tell the parents? Is ma tahir? 7 Up is a tahir because you drink 7 Up, correct? But it's not tahur. Tahur is something that purifies things. So, and the reason why he's asking me this question is that we taught him that the ma' tahir and the ma' tahur is like the clean water, or the tahur is the water that does not have any scent or any taste, and the color is not changed. It has to be colorless water. This ma' can be tahur, and you can purify yourself. You can purify your dirty clothes. And we showed examples. So when I told him, no, you cannot make a wudu with 7 Up, but it's because 7 Up is tahur, you can drink it. All right. Then he said, okay, if this is the case, he said, then why we can make a wudu with the sea water, ma'ul bahr, the water sea? Why we make wudu with it? It has a taste, and also sometimes it has a smell. You can smell the sea water smell. So, and then we mentioned them hadith about this is a specific case kind of things. They used to challenge us, wallahi, the kids. Once you give them the understanding, you'll be surprised. They will know. One time, one of the kids came to me and he said that, teacher, I go to, my dad takes me to a swimming pool. I have a swimming classes. And in the middle of the swimming classes, it's Maghrib time, and it will be very difficult for me to go and change. So can I make a wudu in the swimming pool? And that was a challenging for me. I thought I need Imam to look for answers, because the swimming pool water has a chlorine, it has a smell. But then is it tahir and is it tahur or that kind of things? And the kids they will bring you that kind of thing that they see on daily life. Can they make a wudu in that water? So that kind of things we were teaching them, the kids, to just to have the basic minimum of understanding of tahara, the salah, and the other ibadat that they have to be aware of it. One of the issues that we had was we were teaching them how to be gentle and obedient to your parents. But a lot of kids, they were, and you'll be surprised, they were mentioning things that used to happen at their homes to us. And we used to tackle them and tell them, okay, this is the way you're supposed to approach it Islamically and ethically. And a lot of these kids, they used to attend non-Islamic schools. So we had issues in this kind of programs. And people think it's a very easy program that we make a fun in school, but wallahi, they are very, very tough programs. But it has a great effect for the community. And I saw it myself. I was there for 10 years in San Diego. I came halfway through the program. The program started by a really nice group. Before me, Sheikh Muhammad Faqih knows him because he was there with us at the time when we started in San Diego. These brothers, mashallah, they become community leaders. And they were like young kids, like these kids, when they came to us in the program. And alhamdulillah, by the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they were stayed course on the program. And they become our future leaders. And this is where we inshallah targeting, inshallah. We want up to 10 years from now, inshallah, these kids who are sitting at the back, they will become what they call the leaders of this community. So inshallah, if there's any question, inshallah, let me know, inshallah. If you have any comment, anything that you want to share with us, the floor is open for you guys. Yes, Dr. Mendel. Yeah. Dr. Mendel. Yeah, that's one of the things we discussed with the brothers in here. At MIC, we have emergency response team. I myself am part of it. It's led by Dr. Shan. He's with us in here, and then they will be on in every single event like this. We have to be present. Like last time in Eid, we were present for the Eid activities. But we also, one of the things that we encourage or we ask all the parents to do is to sign the consent form at the beginning. We have a consent form that is being prepared by the masjid about this kind of issues that happened. But if there's any emergency, yes, we have first responders. I myself am a first responder, and then inshallah we'll have. I'm sure there will be few brothers within the group with us. But at any given time, if I'm there, I'm the one who's responsible for the first responders for the team, and we also have backups inshallah. Dr. Nabil. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, to be so. Yeah, and being active in society. Correct. Mhm. You're right. So, so, so I agree with you, Dr. Adnan. I don't know if you heard Dr. Adnan's comment Dr. Nabil's comment was uh, we we don't want to put the kids in a shelf that they be exclusively or be in bubble within our society or community, but we want them to be an active partakers in the greater vertical society in general in America. And Dr. Nabil this is one of the biggest issue that we had with our kids is that most of the instructors they used to come from they came from Muslim countries. They themselves are migrants, so they don't have that concept. Majority of our kids, the kids who were born in the States, and they feel they're part of this society. When we were doing this program in San Diego, we didn't have any issue with that concept because most of our kids they used to attend public schools. And they used to be more active as what you call in their respective communities they come from more than the Muslim community. So this program, when we created in San Diego, it was a need for those kids to have what you call a background about their culture, about Islam in general. But in here, we definitely, or even back in when we were in California, if there's anyone who can help us with this, we will encourage it. But this is where we can target specific lectures for the community leaders, for yourself, Dr. Nabil, or anyone else who can help us in this regard, who be part of especially the minority groups or I remember when we had this program in San Diego, and sorry, in Minneapolis, we were active with the Native Americans groups in there. There was a lot of activities within Minneapolis, and especially for litigations, and they used to have, or the land was taken by the federal government. So the youth, they used to be part of that, what you call activities. We used to encourage them to attend those meetings and marches and demonstrations they had in Minneapolis. But I'm still new in the community here. If there's anything you can help us with this, we need that. This program the curriculum is not a set curriculum. It's just a curriculum that we had based it at the need at the time for the community, and we make it always what you call evolve. So we welcome any feedback, anything. Dr. I myself, I remember very well that when you talked to us about the Thanksgiving Day here, a lecture you gave us here at MIC. Most of the fact that you mentioned to us, for me as someone who came to this country, wasn't new to me. But for a kid who been here in the system, I think it was a given fact to them. This is their history. This is the part of their upbringing. And this is where we want them to get engaged and involved. And that's why when I was establishing this program, I was asking the brothers who are from within this community, but are also native to the States, here, born in the state, grown up in their public schools, to be part of this program to us. We had one brother in San Diego, he's named Brother Sharif, Dr. Sharif, and Dr. Sheikh Muhammad Faqih mentioned him a few days ago about a very well-mannered brother that he gave his example. He was born in this country, and he was our link between us who came from outside of the country and the youth that were grown up. He was the one who was approaching them, and he was relaying to what you call to them, and he was more understanding to them compared to me and someone else who, similar to me. But if you can help us with this, Dr. Adna, Dr. Nabil, we're more than what you call Allah, welcoming you, inshallah. And more than welcome to come and give us lectures as what you call anytime. We have every month we have a free open lecture, and we encourage them to have about different topics background. But yeah, we welcome that too. I think we have a few more minutes before the salah. If there's any questions, inshallah. Yeah. Khalas, inshallah. We'll stop, inshallah, here, inshallah. If there's anything, I forget, there's one thing. Inshallah, we will have a link to registration. I think either will be in the WhatsApp group. I don't, Samir, do you have, is it in WhatsApp group? And also, probably we'll send them an email as well. So please, if you haven't registered, inshallah, register. And then inshallah, we'll start the program on Saturday 21st, inshallah, bin al-Karim. Inshallah, before that, we will send reminders and notices, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair.